The Trap, written by mdxwriter. Chapter 1. Awake. My name is... I don't know what my name is. I sucked air into my chest as my whole body heaved. It felt rigid, like I'd been bound tight inside something for a long, long time, and now every piece of me was slowly shifting apart. My hands and my feet clenched, my neck twisted. I choked air and pushed out in huge, loud gulps. What is my name? But I had a name. I knew this, in spite of the insane, confused terror that ping-ponged around my head. I knew what a name was, and I knew I had one. I knew that I was breathing air, and a sharp pain was shooting through a part of me called the lower back, and I knew that I was a 16-year-old girl who had a mother and a father. I knew a million things about myself, but they were facts upon facts devoid of context. And as soon as I became aware of this, I immediately became aware that two of these facts were in direct conflict with each other. I am alive. I should be dead. More sensory information. I felt my fingers when they flexed before, and I was aware of the nails pressed into my palms. But now I can see them shriveled up like claws. I was lying on the floor, and I wore some kind of robe, and my right leg stuck out of it crooked, my knee bent the wrong way. I felt that the way it is bent is wrong, and as soon as the pain registered, I stretched it. Too far, more pain. I tried to relax, tried to slow my movement, but everything shudders and twists. And then I began to hear. The axilla has bonded. Reduce current to 4. Increase if responses diminish below the acceptable threshold. That voice. I knew that voice. It belonged to someone I trusted, and it filled me with calm in the middle of this cloud of empty facts. I pushed my mind towards it, tried to focus on the sound. Circulatory system functioning. Heart rate slowing. It seems to have completely taken over, as expected. Detecting trace levels of but I couldn't see the face it belonged to. Though it was so close, I knew it. It was a man, but he didn't sound old. I knew him. I knew him. If I thought hard enough, if I pushed my thoughts to it, something rippled through my memory. A face. A boy, my age, brown hair, cut short. His face childlike, arms thin. He looked like me. I knew this. We had the same shape of eyes. Was he my brother? You don't have a brother. A fact, absent of context, but a fact nonetheless. A real piece of something I could work with. This boy was not my brother in blood. But he wasn't far from it, neither biologically or in spirit. The face in my mind looked so sad. He tried to slip out of my thoughts, but I grabbed onto it, gritting my teeth even as my body thrashed and fought. I could see his mouth moving. He was saying my name. I could almost hear it. If I pushed just a little more, I could have it. But the more I pulled at his memory, the more something resisted. My thoughts rose to meet it, but I might as well have wrestled a wave, with the way it pulled back into nothing. I screamed in frustration and punched a fist into the air. My scream sounded so good, primal, angry, like a feral animal tearing itself out of me. I screamed again, louder, force spit and rage out of my throat, again and again, an endless, beautiful scream of fury. What is she doing? Is something wrong? Vitals are good, as far as I can tell. Integration was successful. She's fine. The voice cut through my roar. I heard it inside of my head. It was called thought speak, and it was a telepathic, effective method of communication that made perfect sense to me, even while I simultaneously knew it was not natural, but it was intrinsic to me. And what was more important, I knew that voice. But I didn't know who had made it. although it was close, so close, and I wanted to know so badly, and all my uncertainty and all my fear funneled my anger. I moved my hands with purpose. I kicked my legs over the table. I wasn't going to let this happen. I wasn't going to be kept in the dark like this. I knew those voices, and I knew I could know myself, and I was going to cut through the fog of my brain even if it killed me. I ordered my foot to move, planted it under myself, pushed against it. I stumbled forward, thrust my hand against the wall, and lifted as useless facts fell from the clouds in my mind like fat raindrops. The Gap has sails in the spring. Abercrombie is better in the fall. When on the balance beam, it's better to focus on something far away. Always tell Mum you're going over to Melissa's house. The question is I don't understand. Who is Melissa? When was I on a balance beam? It vanished into white, hot rage that channeled through me. I stood and I snarled. 2 human men stood in front of me, an Andalite and a red-tailed hawk. I knew an Andalite was an alien and this red-tailed hawk was not a bird, but I don't know why I knew it, and it irritates me. So I lifted my head, looked at them, and yelled, "Who the hell are you?" "It's her," said a voice in my head, and this time, somehow, I could tell that it's coming from the hawk. It was talking to me somehow, and even stranger, I understood it could do that. It was right it was doing that. And then the bird, not a bird, said something that cut me into pieces. "That's her," the bird said. "That's our Rachel." Rachel. My name is Rachel. This has been The Trap by mdxwriter, Chapter 1. If you wish to read the rest of the fanfiction, link will be in the description. Thank you for listening.